This conference will now be recorded.
Poor academic performance can also be one of the reasons for stresses. Sudden changes in behavior. Sometimes we observe sudden changes in the behavior of students. So all these issues are very much related with the academic output of the students. As a teacher, we are definitely primarily concerned with the learning in the classroom, the you can say the performance of the students, the results of the students. But there can be 110 reasons behind it. We most of the time we are not able to connect with the background story. Why performance has decreased? Why students have stopped coming to the classes? Why suddenly academic performance is not up to the mark? Why sudden changes in the behavior of the students have occurred? So in order to, you can say, create that connection with the students apart from the classroom work with respect to their other issues. So active listening is a great tool in the hand of the teachers to, you can say, through this particular you can say process of active listening, the teacher can create a very safe space for the students for opening up, coming out with his or her you can say thought process, his or her issues, reasons, anything. As a mentor, as a teacher, we can always solve those issues and create a better classroom environment for those students. So active listening plays a very predominant role in this. So now the question arises, how to practice empathy in the classroom? So basically, as I have already said, like empathy is taking perspective beyond our own. So we have to pay a very keen glance over the, you can say, the world of students. See their world, take their perspective. Try to put yourself in the position of the students and try to relate with what the student is saying, what the student is telling, explaining, and trying to grasp. Unless and until as a teacher we grasp the things, we won't be able to come out with the right kind of solution to that problem. We won't be able to respond in an appropriate manner. So first thing is take perspective through active listening. Okay, so active listening is very important. Putting aside judgment, just accepting the individual the way he or she is. That's it. I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm not going to tag anybody. I'm not going to form any opinion about anybody without knowing the complete story of that student. I simply accept him or her as an individual and I put aside all judgments. Try to understand their feeling. Apart from listening to the words and thoughts, as a teacher, I need to understand the feeling aspect as well. How does whatever the student is narrating, whatever the student is sharing, what exactly is the emotional aspect of all of the story? How does the student feel about it? And after listening, actively listening to the student, it's about communicating understanding. I, as a teacher, we communicate back that this is what I have understood from your side. Maintaining confidentiality of students, which is equivalent to maintaining their regard. Students are quite grown up. They are really very concerned about their self-respect and self-esteem in the classroom. So instead of using the tool of insult, punishment, or disgrace in the classroom, I think if certain students have certain issues, certain maybe certain problems with the performances or any issue, so if he or she has shared certain details with you, confidentiality has to be made. No public shaming in the classroom. Rather, if we maintain confidentiality of the students, and we definitely, you can say, express our regard for him or her as an individual, and that is the real point where the connection begins. Empathetic listening is a great way to make students feel heard, understood, and can take conversation forward. Opening up. Students will open up when you create that safe space where they will be listened to. And it definitely helps to build trust and enrich our understanding of the students. We understand their perspective through empathy. John Steinbeck is a great American author. He said, "You only understand people when you feel them in yourself." So you have to live other person's life. You have to psychologically live other person's experience to understand. So it's what exactly does it involve? Empathetic listening. It is emotional response to the other. Emotional response is an integral part of empathetic communication. It's not only intellectually, cognitive understanding of the other's perspectives, of course, intellectually. Intellectually, we try to grasp the other's perspective. But at the same time, we also try to grasp the emotional response of the individual, and we also respond emotionally to that person. Emotional regulation of the self, but at the same time, as a teacher, we should be capable of regulating our own emotions. We should not intermingle our own emotions with the emotions of the speaker, the student. Rather, we should be able to regulate ourselves. We need to be quite at our guard that we are there to listen to the student first. So empathy, if teachers practice empathy in the classroom, so it enables them to rise above their prescribed professional rules. And as a result, human connections, you can say, emerge in the classroom. So there is another, you can say, aspect which we as a teacher should pay attention to. So if we compare today's time with our times when we had been the student, the outer reality has changed a lot. Now we find a lot of complexity in our social life, in variety, in different facets of our life. It's more complex. It's more exposure is more demand. It's more demanding. The outer reality is very, very demanding. And today's students they found themselves in a number of situations, and sometimes they find themselves incapable of handling certain situations. So outer influences are there. The type of teaching learning environment in which we find students today. Again, nowadays, all of us are into an online mode of learning. So a lot of stresses for the students nowadays. And even in this context, empathy or active listening is very, very, can play a very important role. When we are able to put ourselves in the position of the students, they have lot many queries, they have lot many questions, how to carry out learning at home. So lot new teaching learning experiences. Emerging belief system, complexity in belief system, exposure is so much, media, mass media, social media, so much exposure, print media is there. So variety of belief systems, how to carry out life. Concept of morality has changed nowadays. So many societal changes have taken place. So many stresses, so many mental health issues are there with respect to students, with respect to youngsters nowadays. So in such a scenario, if apart from parental support, if students also get support in the classroom from the teacher side in a non-judgmental manner, so interaction take place, so definitely it helps them to grow personally. We can, as a teacher, we can contribute. So I think that is the purpose of creating mentors, or you can say appointing mentors in the colleges. In our college also, there is a system of appointing mentors. Each mentor has 20 students. The basic focus is, as a teacher, we are not only concerned with the learning needs of the students, we have to, you can say, play our role as a teacher in the life of the students as a whole. The biggest communication problem is we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. It's a very human nature is like that. Like we people are very keen to speak, and we are less inclined to listen. I think listening is a basic skill. It's a foundation skill about which we don't have much training, neither in the schools nor any other way. Moreover, as a teacher, we are speakers basically. So listening has to be nurtured. Listening has to be nurtured by us. Of course, many teachers are good listeners. I'm not generalizing things, but just pinpointing, like this particular aspect is very much important as a teacher. So as I've said, like empathy can be practiced through active listening. So I would say like active listening is exactly putting undivided attention at the disposal of speaker with great respect and regard. This is the underlying, you can say, underlying basic, you can say, concepts, basic ideas, which have to be there. I'm not listening from a higher pedestal. Like I'm teacher, you are student, I'm there to listen, just let me know, and just advising anything to the person. No, I think as a teacher, we should inhibit any sort of quick advice. So we should listen first with great respect and regard. And we should receive communication, and that too in a place where distractions are minimum, so that active listening can take place. Again, Carl Rogers, the expert of the field, he said, attentive listening means giving one's total and undivided attention to the other person and tells the other that we are interested and concerned. Listening is difficult work that we will not undertake unless we have deep respect and care for the other. We listen not only with ears, but with eyes, mind, heart, and imagination, as well as to what is taking place in the person who are hearing. We listen to the words of the others, but we also listen to the messages buried in the words. That is the certain things which are unsaid. It's about complete attention to what the speaker is saying, what the students are saying. There is only one rule for being a good talker. Learn to listen. Listening comes first, speaking comes afterward. It is great speakers are basically great listeners. So active listening involves listening to the words rather than trying to understand meaningfully the message. Active listening is not only listening to the words, rather trying to understand meaningfully the message being communicated. Like it should not be passive listening, just restricted to listening to the words, rather understanding the complete message by paying attention to what is being said, what is left unsaid, what is being emphasized, and what is being denied. Sometimes students are hesitant to share some of the details. So they simply skip that part. That is denied, not expressed. Certain things are emphasized. They are the prime concern of students. And certain things they simply leave unsaid. So as a teacher, we should pay attention to each and every aspect of communication. Active listening involves these steps: hearing, understanding, remembering, interpreting, evaluating, response. Hearing is basic to active listening. Hearing is the physiological, you can say, process where as a teacher, we extend a listening ear to the students. That is a basic requirement. But rest of the steps are very, very crucial in making the interactions fruitful one, grasping what the student is saying, then remembering it in our mind, interpreting it, evaluating it, then building up the response, what to say after listening the message completely. So if we go beyond passive listening, we are not passive listener, just hearing what the other person is saying. When we are able to tap the emotions and thoughts of the speaker and respond in an appropriate manner, exactly then understanding takes place. So when we say active listening has to be carried out, so the basic thing is we must have interest in the speaker. Take 100% interest in the student, what exactly he or she is saying. Listen with your face, which means acquiring proper nonverbal, you can say, behavior. Your expression, your eye contact, your sitting posture, it should reflect that you are keen to listen, you are interested. It should not show your disinterest. Demonstrate complete concentration, that you just present, you just make the student, you can say, believe that you are 100% over there, right there at the moment. your attention is not being distracted by any other. Even you can put your device aside so that no distraction takes place. Just ensuring that the student has the feel that teacher is 100% at my discretion, at my disposal to listen to me. Then refraining from judging. This is a very difficult task. As I have already said, like we always keep on judging people from our perspective. Anybody when discuss any of his or her experiences, so side by side judgment going on. We always label, we always say this or that. So we have to refrain from judging students, just listening objectively to the flow of thought which is being presented by the students. Asking appropriate question. If I say we have to be 100% there and actively listen, but your input in the form of asking appropriate questions in between. That is very important. So the question, instead of asking close-ended question, we should prefer open-ended questions, because close-ended questions, they restrict the response. Instead of saying, are you getting poor grades recently or in the last semester, were your grades were poor? So answer will be either yes or no. Like in this way, the student won't be able to express himself or herself completely. So we can frame a question like, tell me about your performance in the examination. So in this way, now the student will open up and explain properly. And keep on encouraging the student to come out. Attending non-verbal behavior of the speaker. So communication is never ever restricted to words only, which come out of the mouth of speaker. The body language, the non-verbal behavior, expressions, gestures, hesitations, everything need to be attended to. Only then we can come across the complete message. Using encouragers, silences, and appropriate amount of questioning. There should be blend of everything. It should not be too much questioning in between. It can just disturb the flow of thought of the student. So we must encourage the student. And we can, with the head nods, by saying yes, okay, we can encourage. And at the same time, where the student is in very much engrossed in expressing himself freely, we have to maintain silence. Wherever, I mean, it depends on the judgment of the teacher, where to encourage, where to ask questions, where to remain silent. So decisions is up to the, it just simply lies with the students, with the teachers. Identify your own emotions and feelings. Become aware of the type of emotions and feelings which have arisen in you. How does it feel like listening to the details the student is sharing? It helps you to respond and connect. Employing reflective skills. Reflecting upon what the student has said. It can be in the form of summarizing. It can be in the form of paraphrasing. Like when the student has stopped speaking out, stopped expressing, as a teacher, we should summarize what the student has said. What will happen in this way? We are just giving a feedback to the student that you have been heard, you have been listened to, you have been understood. This is what you have said. And at the same time, we also check for the understanding that I have got the right kind of message. I might not be on the wrong plane. The student said something else, I understood something else. So there can be a understanding check on the one hand, and the second hand, on the other hand, I will be able to communicate my understanding of student's message. We can even during the interaction, while listening to the student properly, we can seek certain clarifications. Can you tell me more about it? Are you saying that? So such questions definitely help us, enable us as a teacher to clarify things, to be with the right kind of perspective about what the student has shared with us. Avoid certain things need to be avoided. Avoid trying to jump in and fix things. We should not be quick, like the student have just explained half of the things, have talked about half of the things. I'm just getting impatient I jump to the conclusions and I think, okay, fine, you need to do this thing, that thing. I'm coming out with my advices. Avoid that. Listen to the complete message first. Trying to explain away and rationalize emotions. So whatever emotions students are expressing, we need not to explain why you are feeling like this. There can be this reason behind it. We need not to rationalize anything. Just accept the flow of emotion the way it is coming out. Telling what the person needs to do, avoid. There is no need to you can say give any ready-made solution to the other party, to the speaker, to the student, like you are supposed to do like this will work wonder in your life, this will help you out in solving the problem. Rather, as a teacher, we should, instead of giving direct prescribed solution, we should enable the student to reach to the solution himself or herself. We should facilitate that process. As a teacher, I need to facilitate the process of reaching to a particular solution. It should not be ready-made stuff which I am there to give to the students. Giving person the answers. Avoid, don't give answers. Is wajah se hai, us wajah se hai. Don't, no reasoning, no answers, just listening properly. Okay, if certain cases you find like the student is not capable of coming out with the solution on himself or herself, so advice can be the last option to give. Otherwise, advice can also be given with a few questions like, have you considered this? You can give one option. Let the student choose. Let the student choose the right way out for the problem, for the thing which he or she is discussing. What would happen if you choose to do like this? What do you think about? What about be the reaction if? So through all these open-ended questions, we are basically enabling the student to reach to the solution on himself or herself. It is about empowering the student. It's about empowering the speaker to look for the solution himself or herself. So here I am with you can say certain roadblocks which can you can say hinder the process of active listening. So first is the schedule. Sometimes scheduling of this particular session of active listening becomes difficult task. There is no like we are not able to you can say choose a particular session, particular time frame where we can interact upon. Distraction, a lot of distraction where we are interacting, that you can be pose a roadblock to active listening. Biases is a very common, you can say, part of human psyche. Very quickly biases are developed in our mind, so sometimes it's very difficult to avoid biases. So that becomes you can say hindrance to effective active listening. Argument, sometimes we are too argumentative. Even if the other person is expressing, we indulge in argumentation. Why so? Why not this? Why not you opt for this? Why do you think like this? So arguments block active listening. It hinders the process of free flow of communication from speaker side. As I've already said, like we need to you can say pose certain questions in between. We have to use encouragers so that the student keeps on expressing. But sometimes there is an overdose of questions. So avoidance has to be, there should be more than required question need to be avoided. There's no need to ask too many questions. Tone, judgment. Generally, we overlook the tone aspect, but it's very, very important, even more important than the verbal communication, the communication which is taking through words. Tone definitely communicate so many things. As a teacher, if I adopt a very assertive tone while interacting with the student, so it will definitely hinder the self-expression. The tone can be angry, it can be assertive, it can be aloof. So if tone is friendly, accepting, the active listening will definitely take place. Avoid judgment. Don't don't put forth quick solution, quick advices. Labeling has to be. Labeling is a very frequent thing in case of, you can say, when teachers interact with the students. Very quickly, we just tag students like he's an intelligent guy, this is a dull boy, this is naughty, this is like this and that. Certain tags are always there. So it's very difficult to carry the weight of tags. So never ever we should try to label any student or tag. So especially while we are listening to the individual. So avoid labeling. Generalization, don't jump to the generalizations, over generalizations. Diverting from the topic. Sometimes diverting from the topic itself leads to a roadblock to active listening. The primary concern is something else, but we have started discussing something else. So active listening, so basically if it is carried out effectively, so it builds trust, engagements in conversation, it broadens our perspective for the students, of course, because those are the individuals who are involved in conversation. It builds self-esteem also, and it creates space for student which is safe for uninhibited self-expression. So the more you make the students more we make the students comfortable in the classroom by making the classroom a safe space for them for self-expression, their engagements in the learning, you can say, initiative will be definitely appreciable. So here I suggest one activity on the part of all of us as a teachers, like we should identify the roadblocks that prevent us from active listening. Like listening is not a simple task. To talk about listening is so simple. When we listen about listening, it's so simple as a concept. But as a, you can say, as a practitioner, it's really difficult to stay listening. A point comes when we stop listening. We become, you can say, we are not able to concentrate. So I wish that all of us should identify. Unless and until we identify, we won't be able to remove the roadblocks to that. So all of us can do this activity on our own end. And also based on your listening, list 3 ways that can be employed to overcome these roadblocks. So the second aspect of empathetic listening, empathetic communication in the classroom, apart from active listening, was we should, as a teacher, we should stay non-judgmental, which is really, really very, very difficult task to stay non-judgmental. Again, Carl Rogers, it's a very beautiful quote by Carl Rogers to make us understand what exactly non-judgmental attitude is. People are just as wonderful as sunsets if you let them be. When I look at the sunset, I don't find myself saying, soften the orange a bit on the right-hand corner. I don't try to control a sunset. I watch with awe as it unfolds. So accept the people, accept the students the way they are. We need not to be judgmental. So when we create non-judgmental spaces for the students, so open, you can say, very great interactions take place in the classroom. The students have the feel that they are not being censored by values and beliefs of the teacher. The teacher is not judging them from his or her own perspective. They have been accepted the way they are in the classroom. So we are certain that what we hold as what actually is behind this particular conception. Like all of us are judgmental in a number of ways in many of the situations. So basically the point is, why do we grow judgmental? Because as an individual, we hold this viewpoint, like my perspective is the only way of carrying out the things in life. This is the only right way of thinking in the life. And unconsciously, maybe in the subconscious, we have this conviction. That's why when we listen to somebody and we find that the person is on some different plane, is expressing his or her perspective, it doesn't match with mine, we stop listening. we simply ignore that particular stuff. So there, the process of active listening stops. There we start judging other person. So instead of thinking like my belief system is the only right way, we should learn to accept others' point of view. We should learn to accept the uniqueness of perspective which is prevailing around us. Each one of us is unique with respect to the perspectives, with respect to the belief system, and each one has the equal right to hold. So everyone is product. Why this particular perspective is different, why belief system is different? Because everyone is, of course, you can say, product of one's own lived experiences. My belief system is a product of the kind of life I have lived in the last years, in the past, my family background, the environment, the social environment, family environment, the education, the experiences I have throughout my life. So each one is product of one's own lived experience, and it's bound to be different from any other individual. So the moment we start accepting it, we will stop judging other person, and we would be able to relate with people in a better way. So as a teacher, we should definitely put conscious effort to stop this particular judgmental approach. So here I would like to play a small video to just present my thought on non-judgmental attitude.
Man was waiting at an airport for a long-distance flight. His flight was delayed, and so he had a little spare time. He saw a deal on some cookies and thought he should treat himself. He bought quite a few cookies because he thought it might be quite a long delay. He took a seat near a man and started to read the magazine he also picked up earlier. He exchanged a glance with the other man and then tried to avoid eye contact as he went back to reading. While he was engrossed in his magazine, he happened to see that the man sitting beside him boldly grabbed a cookie from the container. He initially ignored the incident to avoid a scene. He grabbed a cookie himself and went back to his magazine. But the man seemed to have enjoyed the cookie so much, he took another one and started eating it too. This continued for a while, and with each passing moment, he began to get more and more irritated. Every time he took a cookie, so did the other man. When the last cookie was left, the man nervously took that cookie and broke it in half. He offered the other to the man, smiling. The man took the cookie and could not believe the other man's nerve. He was thinking in his head, how ungrateful could that man be? The other man then left and took the container with him. This guy couldn't believe what had just happened. He was relieved when his flight was called. He gathered his belongings. As he lifted his bag, he saw that there was a full container of cookies right there. He was totally shocked, totally surprised. It caught him off guard. He thought to himself, if my cookies are here, then wait, those cookies were his. The other man had shared his cookies whilst he was thinking he was the one doing the sharing. Whilst he was angry and irritated, the other man was being generous and kind. He felt so bad for what had happened. He couldn't find the other man anywhere and didn't know how to apologize. Things are not always as they appear. Sometimes we make quick assumptions about people, circumstances, and situations. We judge them, label them, and put them into a box, not recognizing that there is a much bigger picture. Sometimes we meet someone in a particular stage or phase of their life and stereotype them to be a certain way. Don't be so quick to judge. You never know when you might find yourself walking in someone else's shoes. And remember, the best apology is changed behavior.
Yes. Another point is how to grow non-judgmental. So for that purpose, self-awareness, introspection is very important. We should consciously refrain ourselves from imposing our belief system on students. As a teacher, we very quickly come out with certain statements like, I think you should do like this, you should like this is not the appropriate behavior for you, you are really You are not following the decorum in the classroom. So many things we say. We should refrain from, because unless and until we know the complete story, we should not form any opinion. The skill can be cultivated through continuous practice. We should practice non-judgmental attitude. So in the class, as I have just said, we make use of certain phrases, verbal phrases. So one thing which all of as a teacher should do is we should avoid absolute statements, just which has nothing, no scope for something else, just absolute statement. Like you're always late in the classroom, you're always doing these types of stuff. Avoid tags in the classroom. So in this way, we can you can say stop. You can say continuing with judgmental attitude. Another aspect is tone. We should adopt a tone which is neutral, which is friendly, which is accepting, not judgmental. Our tone should not communicate to the students that we are judging them, we are labeling them, we are putting them into a specific frame, because then the feeling, the type of feeling which got developed on the part of student is they are not being understood. Teacher is just doing something wrong with him or her. Teacher is unfair in holding this particular opinion about me. So then resentment and grudges accumulate instead of connections and relationships in the classroom. Body language. As a teacher, my body language should not communicate that I am judging somebody. It should not be negative in the classroom. It should be very, very positive, which makes the students quite comfortable in the classroom. So a few examples I would like to share with you regarding absolute statements we have just said. You're always late. We describe behavior of the students, and that description is not based on our complete understanding of the things. Many a times, just one or two random observation become the basis for labeling or judging. You're always late. But the question is, why is he or she is always late? We never ever try to reach behind story behind whole of the affair. You are very lazy. You are lying. So I think certain options I have added to these sentences, like instead of saying you are lying, I'm confused about it. Will you help me understand it in a better way? You are wrong in saying this. Instead of saying to the other person, student, that you are wrong, because wrong is a very strong word. Instead of like straightforwardly blaming, so I can say like, I see things differently from you. Why did you do this? Please help me understand the reasons for your behavior. So this is a very neutral statement which we can give to the student, and we will definitely get answers to such statements, such questions. You never do your homework. What happened? That homework is not done. So a number of, and besides these few statements, number of other statements can be replaced by you can say positive statements. One very frequently, I haven't added over here, one very frequently occurring statement in the class when we explain certain facts in the classroom, when we carry out teaching in the classroom, we say, have you understood? Like, it's my personal opinion, like when we say, have you understood, we are definitely speaking from a very higher pedestal, where we are doubtful of the capability of student to understand what I have said. So I acquire a, you can say, bigger status in the classroom. Like I am there with not many difficult facts and figures which students may understand or may not understand. So I think if we replace this statement, instead of saying, have you understood? If we replace this statement by saying, am I clear for you? Or have I made myself clear? Have I been able to reach to you? So I think the students will be more open to tell, like so and so concept is not yet clear. Please explain these concepts again. So again, the point which I have started with, connections, openness, creating openness on the part of the students through relevant communication, open communication, empathetic communication. And in the colleges where we deal with the young students, I think it should be, just wait for some time. It should be one-to-one communication. We should have to ensure respect of the you can say students as well in the classroom. So here I suggest one activity. Make a list of 5 phrases you may be using during student interactions that might sound judgmental. Based on your learning, create 5 phrases you can use instead of. I think instead of interacting upon these 5 phrases, I would wish that all of us should do this activity in private, at our own, after introspecting, and we should pay conscious attention to it if we want to bring a change in the weather of the classroom. So here, so with this, I have come to the end of my presentation, the thought process which I intended to interact upon with you. So here I'm going to play one video which is related with the importance of listening in the classroom, which I came across, and I wish to share it with you so that you can also come across the important things, important ideas which have been communicated through this video.
I'm obsessed with the question, what makes a good teacher great? I've collected 26,000 responses to this question in 8 different schools, from the poor schools in Los Angeles to suburban schools in Texas to elite private schools abroad. And after 24 years of teaching students, I'm still perplexed by this question. Today, I'm going to teach the lessons I learned from those thousands of students and learn what I found out from them if we just listen to students. The thing about it is that during my time of asking kids this question, I realized that we don't ask this question for a particular reason. Schools are afraid. Based on fear, they don't really want to know what kids think, partially because they don't think kids will take it serious. I'm going to share with you one of the most profound quotes, answers to this question that I've ever received. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't this prove my point? Great teachers eat apples. When I first saw this, I dismissed it as silliness. But it appeared again and again. So I thought there's got to be something to this. But what are they trying to tell me? So one day I decided I would start eating apples. I ate them in the morning, at lunch, during class, in the hall. Kids began to give me apples. They'd see me eating them and say, "You're eating an apple." I know. They would smile. I would smile back. It wasn't until I understood that kids wanted to see me as somebody who was willing to receive a gift from them, that the apple was a symbol for our relationship. There was goodness in that and trust. But for a long time, I wasn't listening, and I hadn't understood this. They have their own language. When they say a great teacher is chill, what they really mean is don't take it too serious. Be calm in all situations. Don't get overwhelmed. They have a way of speaking to us about what they really want to tell us, but we have to listen, right? I am the father of 2 grown kids. They're out of school now and in college. But when they were at home and they were teenagers, I had to learn a whole new language. When they would come home from school, I might ask them, "How was your day?" And they would say, "Fine." Which usually meant, it was not bad, it's pretty good. Nothing happened eventful. I probably learned something, maybe I didn't. But if they came home and said, "Fine," what they meant was, it wasn't really great, but don't ask me because you wouldn't understand anyways. If I asked them how their day was and they said, "Okay," what they were trying to tell me was that You should probably ask me more questions, but don't expect me to answer. Kids have their own language. They have their own way of thinking. They want us to think like them and understand what's inside of their head. They have so many ways of thinking that things are great. They want us to see the world inside of them. But they don't want us to act like them. They want us to be calm and protect them and keep them safe. Kids have a way of communicating, and adults just haven't spent the time listening. But what if we did? What if we really listened deeply to students? One of the things I noticed after all the years of collecting these responses is that there's patterns that emerge. When I asked the question, what makes a good teacher great? Oftentimes I heard a great teacher loves to teach. 70% of the time, the quote or the answer that followed was, a great teacher loves to learn. The reason this is significant is they don't see this happening. They don't see teachers learning in front of them. They see them teaching, but they wish they would learn along with them. Think about it. Principals hire teachers to be content experts, to have all of the knowledge, not to be learners. But what if they did? What if you showed up in the classroom and the teacher had something prepared and said, I don't know exactly what we're going to do today, but I can't wait to learn with you. Or that they saw their teacher struggle through something they didn't actually know and then eventually discovered the answer. Kids want to be inspired by this idea that learning is important, but they don't see it in schools. When I saw this quote, a great teacher isn't a teacher, I actually was a little bit offended. What do you mean? I'm a teacher. They're like, we know. What they were trying to tell me is a great teacher isn't in the classroom. Think about it. Think about a time that you have some enduring understanding, a time when you learned something that you still remember and use to this day, like throwing a baseball or riding a bike. I remember learning to ride a bike from my mom when I was 5 years old. She took off the training wheels of my bike. She got behind me and began to push. And we ran until she finally let go and I began to ride a bike. That's what I did. That's how I learned to ride a bike. I can still ride a bike to this day from that moment. But can you imagine if I tried to learn a bike from my mom in a classroom, what it would look like? Son, first, you need to learn all the parts of a bike. There's pedals and a crank, and there's a chain that turns the wheel. You have to give significant force. Once the force has enough momentum and you can keep your balance, that's how a bike works. I want you to learn all the parts, be able to label them and draw them. Then you're going to learn and write a research paper about the history of bike riding. All the important elements, the inventor, the developments of bikes. And at the end of that, you're going to take a final examination. If you pass and get an A, you can ride a bike. At 5 years old, I think I would have said, never mind, I'll just walk. This is exactly what we do to children. We put them in a classroom and tell them, this is what I want you to learn. It's important, do it. And kids know that it's not true, that we don't really value learning this way. So no wonder they're disruptive or bored or disengaged. Kids want us to be teachers that aren't teachers. I want to tell you a story about Yvette. A great teacher understands that they have a life outside of school. They really do. They want us to know that their life in school is way more different than the life outside of school. I just thought, well, how hard is your life? Your job is to do school. My job is to teach. Yvette was a tough student. She was feisty and she had an infamous reputation. She walked around with the jacket to prove it. Whenever she walked around, the kids would follow. She would come in and sit in the front row and lean just so she could make eye contact to intimidate me. She would call me Mr. and not even use my full name. When she'd get up to go to the bathroom, all the girls would follow. Eventually, I learned from Yvette what she needed to learn. And I thought I became pretty good at what I was doing. I noticed one day she stopped turning in her homework, which she had become a great leader in the classroom. She turned in her homework. She participated in class. She actually was quite good. So when this happened, I was surprised. So I went up to her and said, Yvette, I'm very disappointed in you. She said, I know, mister, I'm sorry. I expected it turned in tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and just a few sheets of unfinished work were turned in. I also went up to her and said, Yvette, this is disappointing. She said, I normally do my homework in the bathroom because it's the quietest place in my house. But this week the electricity was turned off and it's dark in there. I had a candle, but it burnt out, and I'm sorry. She gazed down, not at her prideful self. I had missed the point. I had not listened when she said, I'm trying, mister. I heard the words, but I didn't listen. Great teachers notice when there's a struggle. They don't make assumptions about what kids can and cannot do. They wait and watch, and they rescue them when they're stuck. Good teachers hear them, but they don't listen. I'll never forget Yvette. I'm grateful because whenever I see an answer of a student like that, I remember her and I listen. This was the most perplexing answer I think I ever received. It happened every year for 10 years. At least one student would put this. A great teacher sings. What are they talking about? I can't sing. So I started saying, wait a second. What do they mean? It wasn't until Danny turned it in as one of his responses. He was the class clown. You know, he was the one that when we took a class picture, he put your fingers behind your head. He would make faces at me during lectures so I would laugh. Everything was a joke to Danny. So when he turned in his responses, and they were all serious and actually really good, I was surprised when this showed up in the middle. But I knew there was something to it. I just didn't know what. The next day, I put the agenda on the board, listing all the activities of the day, the expectations and the homework. And instead of actually reading them, very seriously, I sang. In the operatic style, big as I could. The eyes of the students were wide, their mouths dropped. But you know what happened at the end of that? I expected pointing and laughing, but the classroom erupted in cheers and applause. There was a standing ovation. I could not believe it. At the end of class, they walked out, gave me high fives and handshakes, and here came Danny. He walked in and he leaned in and patted me on the shoulder and said, I told you a great teacher sings. Great teachers make themselves humble before their students. They take risks. They put aside their fear to try. They trust that they're going to be supported if they fail. But they don't see this. They see experts, remember? Content experts. What if we hired teachers not to be deep understanding of content, knowledge keepers, but deep understanders of students? Our schools would change and transform. But it's no wonder students don't care, or that teachers don't really listen, because they've never been taught. But what if we did listen? You see, we spend 3 years of a student's life teaching students to read. About 12 years of those students' life teaching them to write. Maybe if they're lucky, they get a semester or half a year learning to public speak. But they get virtual 0 years of formal listening instruction? 0. Think about it. When was the last time you were at a dinner party and someone asked the question, so what do you do for a living? And the response was, oh, I'm a listening teacher. I teach advanced listening at the high school, advanced listening communications, or beginning listener for elementary. We don't hear this because we just don't believe it in schools. It's important. So in the world, listening is one of the #1 skills essential for business and life, and we just don't teach it. We need to listen to our students. In our classrooms are the future, the Maya Angelous, the Mother Teresas, the Elon Musks of the world. And can you imagine if we took the time to ask those students what would make a good teacher great? And then we actually listened. We could transform schools and education. Thank you.
So thank you very much for your patient listening. So that's all about my input in this regard. So I welcome any sort of input from your side. Thanks a lot.
Yes, participants, any queries or any questions? The current attendance call is not working. We assume no queries, ma'am. Thank you so much, Puneet, ma'am. It was very interesting lecture. Your content, your videos were very good. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Most welcome.
This conference will now be recorded.
A very good afternoon to all present. Now I would request Professor Jaspreet Kaur to kindly introduce first speaker of this session. Jaspreet ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, sir. I Jaspreet on behalf of Department of Business Administration, GNDEC, Ludhiana. Welcome you to this 2-week FDP program sponsored by AICTE under AICTE. I would like to introduce our expert speaker, Dr. T. Ravichandran. Dr. T. Ravichandran is presently a professor of English in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, India. He won from Pondicherry University the Gold Medal Prize for his PhD work on fluidity of identity in John Barth and Thomas Pynchon. He graduated from the American College, Madurai, where he won the A.V. Tilak Prize for standing first among the MA candidates. He has been presenting a number of papers in national seminars and international conferences. Notable among his presentations are the ones in Bucknell University, Peninsula, and Florida Atlantic University, Florida, USA, Kokugawa University, Tokyo, Japan, Seoul National University, Seoul, South Korea, and Lucian Blaga University, Sibiu, Romania. He has written more than 50 research article book chapters, supervised 10 doctoral theses, edited a special issue on cyberpunk literature for the Creative Forum Journal, and published a book on postmodern identity. In his distinguished 30 years of teaching career, he has taught various courses in English language and literature, and for most of them based on the course appreciations by the students, he has been receiving commendations letters from Director of IIT Kanpur. His new courses on climate fictions and films and perspectives of Boston and in the Anthropocene are for the first time introduced in India. His Nptel video and web courses on communication skills and Swayam Mooc courses on developing soft skill and personality and enhancing soft skills and personality with about a recent enrollment of 53,000 and around, are well acclaimed nationally and internationally. His 60 sessions of Lockdown Knockdown Live webinar series delivered through various academic institutions as FDPs and short-term courses were immensely popular and very well received by students and teachers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. He has held many administrative positions, including the Vice Chairman of Graduate Aptitude Test in Engineering, that is GATE, and Chairman Senate Undergraduate Committee at IIT Kanpur. He is a recipient of the prestigious Fulbright Nehru Academic and Professional Excellence Fellowship 2014-15 for his research and teaching at Duke University, North Carolina, USA. Recently, he is honored with Champa Devi Gangwal Chair Professorship at IIT Kanpur. We welcome you here, sir, and over to you now.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am audible as well as my slides are visible.
Yes, sir, you are audible and slide is also visible.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's my pleasure to be part of this team and a part of this FDP program. It's also my privilege to discuss with you, having run 2 Mooc courses very successfully. And then as it has been pointed out, the enrollment is more than 50,000. Every 4 months to 6 months, we are about graduating 50,000 plus, which means in a year, 1 lakh students are doing my course, and then I'm dealing with them online. And today we are all in that kind of situation where we need to reach out to the students using this kind of online forum. So particularly Mooc. Okay. Many people are afraid of giving the course because they think that it's very challenging. But I would suggest to you that you should see that as an opportunity. And I'm going to explain to you how we can look at that as opportunity. What are the nitty-gritties involved in running this course, so that I hope at the end of it, if you have some doubts, you can clear, so that it also inspires you to run your own Mooc courses in whatever form that is feasible to you. So to start with, okay. So I would say that although we are all locked down, we are experiencing a kind of lockdown situation. The future is happening now. Okay. And although the present is not very clear, the future has already started happening. And I just want to start with a joke from Facebook, and let's see how it goes. So it goes like this. This is a conversation between a girl and her father. And the girl says, "Dad, I'm in love with a boy who is far away from me. And I'm in Ghana and he lives in Tokyo. And we are on we met on a dating website, became friends on Facebook, had long chats on WhatsApp. He proposed to me on Skype, and now we have had 2 months of relationship through Viber. I need your blessings and good wishes, Daddy." And Dad says, "Wow, really? Then get married on Twitter, have fun on Tango, buy your kids on eBay, send them through Gmail, and if you are fed up with your husband, sell him on Amazon." Okay. Now, jokes apart, you know that this has become a reality, and this is the kind of future that has become present. Now, you can sell anything, buy anything online, and not necessarily commodities, but also knowledge has become such a commodity that it can be sold, purchased, distributed online. So now when the scenario has changed, where are we now? And another thing I just want to tell you, that if you think that the vaccines have arrived, and then after the vaccine, then we'll be able to go back to the old scenario. You should understand that we are living in this kind of future where we will be quarantined and wired forever. So I may sound little bit pessimistic, but this is the reality. The reasons are like this. Even in places where already they have started using vaccine, like in London, there's a news that is telling today that the virus has mutated and people are again getting this COVID-19 in different forms. Now, this is just the beginning, in the sense that it has introduced a new norm, and a kind of biological warfare has started. Very soon it can go to wrong hands, and then this has set a very bad precedence, and then this is going to become the new norm. The second thing is, apart from this biological warfare, the convergence that has happened towards technological singularity, that we are all moving towards a stage where everything is to be brought under the ambit of technology, computer, digital form, digitalization. So knowledge itself, what is digitalized will become useful and relevant. What cannot be digitalized will become irrelevant and useless. Now teachers, if you can adapt to the digital format, you will be found relevant and useful. If you cannot, you will be found irrelevant and useless. So there's no sense of remorse here. There is no need to feel bad that I was working 30 years as a faculty. Now I'm not able to teach online, so they have thrown me out of job. Now, unless you adapt to online teaching, unless you adapt to the digital format of converting your knowledge and making it effectively reach the learners, you will not survive. So you will become obsolete very soon. So with this introduction, let's see what has happened in education. Actually, if you look at it, this both scenario, this biological change that has happened and the technological singularity that is happening, it has caused a paradigmatic shift in education. How? Learning so far was teacher-centered, but it has become student-centered. So the teacher-centered one, it was like chalk and talk method. Teacher was coming to the class, and the teacher, she knew everything. All kinds of knowledge is known only to the teacher, and the teacher was just filling the empty vessels. That is the mind of the students. And they were supposed to vomit that in the exam paper, and then they are getting marks. And whatever is taught in the teacher-centered method, they were all beneficial to the teachers. What the teachers knew, that is put in the syllabus. Whether the student need it or not is not asked. Okay. So whatever was taught was just in case. It was told that, why am I reading some engineer? If the engineer is asking, why should I read Shelley and Shakespeare? So what is the relevance? So they may say that just in case you may need it sometimes. Okay, so there's no relevance. Now, what has happened when the shift has taken place from teacher-centered to student-centered? The need of the students are taken care, and the online mode is completely catering to what is called as just in need. A student finds that a 4-year syllabus in the college is boring, monotonous, useless, and he wants to learn photography, and college is not teaching photography. Even he wants to know something about cooking, college is not doing it. Something about soft skills, college is not doing it. So he wants to know about it. He or she, they can just today go to the Swayam portal, they can go to MIT online open courses, and most of them are free for registration. They can just register. If they are interested in exam and getting certificate, they can get. Otherwise, they can just enjoy just learning something for the sake of learning it. Okay, so the just in case mode has been shifted to just in need mode. Besides, it has also generated a culture of openness and transparency. No more a teacher can go to the class and tell that I know everything and I only know the secret. I will not tell you. Okay, I will ask you questions in the exam, which except me, no one knows the answer. Now today, whatever you want to teach is already available on Google, already available online. They can just use Google to search, navigate, and then they can get the information. If you do just cut paste and then go to the class, students know that, oh, you have copied from Wikipedia, where I can also get an access. So this has compelled the teacher to generate this culture of openness and transparency to make them understand that, okay, you also know whatever I know, but the only difference is I know how to guide you. I know how to make you understand what is good for you, what is irrelevant for you. So that is how you try to make your role felt as a teacher by accepting this shift. Okay. Now, the other thing that has happened, which I call is at the paradigmatic shift that has happened. So, so the kind of knowledge that is taking place in the knowledge transfer mode, previously it was constrained to geospace, it was time constrained, it was physical, it was face to face, and it was textual. Okay, so this means you live and stay within four walls. The teacher comes to that four-wall classroom, and within that everything has been told. It was physical and it was textual. Now it has become cyberspace controlled and it is open and e-learning. Just like the cartoon that I have put, while the old teachers are reading books like how to get online, the young generation is already online and they are in the cyberspace and reading, trying to know how to read a book, the conventional book. They are not even used to going to this old heavy book. So that is the kind of change that has taken place. Besides, Mooc, which has actually come to serve a very good purpose. What is the full form of Mooc? Mooc is massive open online course, massive open online course, and it is offered to thousands of students. Some teachers are even scared of teaching beyond 50 or 100, but you can teach thousands of students without getting scared because of the platform. And it is open for public enrollments. So previously you will get only selected captive audience. Now it is open to multitudes and it is online. So it is available anytime, anywhere. So it is anytime learning, anywhere learning, just like ATM. Anytime you can go there. Instead of anytime money, it's anytime knowledge. It's anytime learning. And the course, it is structured and it can be credit bearing. So you can have a credit also through the course, or if you don't want, you can just enjoy the process of learning. So what is this open online course? If you look at it, it's exactly like a course you teach on campus, not much of difference. The course also starts on a certain date. The course duration, just like the normal one, lectures every week. Tutorial problems are given every week. Discussions happen every week and the course ends on a certain date. Now, except that everything unfolds on an open online portal. Okay. Instead of the regular lectures in the class, videos of lectures are released every week. Instead of tutorial problems, online assignments and assessments are done. And instead of class discussions, online discussion forum is happening. So that is the difference. Okay. Now, more about Mooc. What are the advantages? Sometimes you get the best of the teachers. So for example, the online swayam.gov.in. So that puts all the best teachers of the country from IITs, NITs, and other reputed institutes, and they are giving you courses. So if you think that a subject is not taught particularly well by a teacher, you can go to online forum where it is taught maybe better. Okay, so that is the advantage. And then you can pursue your own interest, and then even group study is possible. You can have some study buddy, and that is also possible. Now, what are the other advantages? When it was one-to-one kind of communication, now it is one-to-many. So one person to many. And if you look at the many, the boundaries are erased. So it doesn't matter whether you are from the poor or the rich, whether you are from some privileged or underprivileged society, whether you are from this religion or that religion, whether you are from this region or that region, the boundaries are erased. So it's cross culture, it's borderless, even class, race, caste, social, financial, all these things are actually crossed. So that is the other advantage of Mooc courses. And the other question that you might ask is like, when I say massive, how massive it is? Okay, so then you will understand that it's not just 100, okay, not just 1000, but it can be even 10,000, it can be even 1 lakh. Okay. Some of the online courses which are run by places like MIT and all that, they have even more than this, like even crores of people have attended their session. And then the registration is open. Okay. Sometimes you can have local cohorts. This is the point some of you might be interested as teachers, that you can become a local nodal coordinator in your college, and it is self-paced. There are start and end dates. Some of the colleges have taken some of the Mooc courses as part of their college credits. Like for example, my course on soft skills have been absorbed as part of APJ Abdul Kalam technological universities throughout the country as a 3-credit course. So students in the first year, they have to do this course. So the college also can adapt this course to suit their need. Sometimes badges in the form of certificates are given. What is the role of the instructor here? The instructor actually delivers the content, takes part in the assessment and clears doubts. And there is a huge learning community that is formed, and you enjoy learning from each other. Scripted assessments are there, feedback is given immediately, and the content is open, it is free of charge, and it is affordable also. So yeah, like for example, 1000 rupees for girl students to get the certificate, and others maybe 1500. But if you don't want to have the certificates, still it is free. Okay, so further, like to understand what is Mooc, a lot of students, as I said, even more than lakh can enroll in this. Taking the classes are free, and only when you want a certificate, then they will ask for a particular fees. No attendance is necessary. It is all online. So it's a combination of streaming video, forums, and written and interactive online material. Moocs emphasize key features of a class such as engagement with the material, ideation, and networking with the students. So large-scale interactive participation is possible, and open access is possible. Who are the major Mooc providers? If you look at the like current decade, Coursera is on the top, and then Canvas, Arizona, Udemy, EDX, and then Udacity. But Nptel Swayam entered the foray slightly later, but the current statistics inform that it's like on the top, like it's as good as any other foreign courses in terms of number, is as well as in terms of content. And if you look at the popularity. So initially it looked like only people from United States were enjoying so much. Okay, and slowly that was because of MIT. The first one to pioneer this kind of Mooc courses, but later it spread. Entered into this, all the subjects are there. For example, somebody wanted to learn Kathak dance in India, so there is a course on that. Somebody wanted to learn Bharatanatyam, there is a course. As I said, somebody wanted to learn photography, there is a course on that. So today the subjects have moved beyond the conventional math, science, engineering, arts, business. It has gone beyond this. So you name it, you have it. You just have to go to, for example, Swayam and search for it, and then it's available at your disposal. Now the other thing is like as teachers, the next question you will have is, okay, now I have tried to tell you that Mooc has permeated everywhere and it is imminently happening. Now the next thing that you might be asking is that, should I Mooc or not to Mooc? Okay, so should I adapt to this or not to adapt? And some people say that, oh, this may fizzle out. Okay, but Mooc is becoming hotter and then becoming much more relevant. And in future, as I said, the situation where we are living in, the kind of lockdown situation, Mooc is going to be the only solution. So the teachers who think that they will still manage with chalk and talk method, they are the ones who are going to be in trouble. Okay. What are the interesting features? As I said, it's free. And then real college courses have got in nowadays. Okay, and then people all over the world are brought together, and it allows teachers to make most of the classroom time. So what we do in Mooc is also something very interesting. We follow the so-called flipped method of teaching. So normally in classroom, what happens? The teacher goes and then gives a lecture. In fact, the teacher dictates the lecture, and then the students are supposed to take notes of it. And very rarely the teacher bothers to record that on video and then put it, because sometimes the teacher happens to use the same old notes used for 40-50 years, so the teacher doesn't want to share it. Now in Mooc, what happens? We put everything, our notes, our materials, our PowerPoint, our transcript, our video, all that we can say is put already, and it is uploaded. So what is taught in the class in the form of lectures are already available in their hand in the form of video lectures, and they're free to watch it before they come to the class, where normally only teaching is done. Now we are doing activities. So that is why it is called as flipped method of teaching. So we flip classroom and home. So what they do as homework is something they come to the class and they do it. So the result is that they are more seriously engaged in this. They are actively participating. They're enjoying. They're having the fun. So lecture, no more you have to sit within that 1 hour time space constraint, and then you have to listen all the time. Listen anytime, anywhere. When you are driving a car, you just listen to that in the audio form. So on your mobile, when you're waiting on bus stop, you listen to the course. So anytime, there is no specific time that you have to attend to the lecture. So that monotony of classroom is completely broken. Creativity, spontaneity, okay, So those are all the things which Mooc actually focuses on. Now, if you look at Mooc itself, there is also a kind of hierarchy. There are some courses which are on the top. Okay. For example, the degree-based courses are on the top. Okay, they also sell out for good money. The skill-specific ones are in the next category. And then there are some courses with course credits there with the third one. The fourth one with certificates, which are much popular. Like most of our skill-based courses come under this category. Soft skills, communication skills, all of these courses, even C++, they all come under this category. The next one is vanilla Moocs. Okay, that is like you take whatever you want, some from here, some from other one. Okay, and then they are again free. The last one is the self-directed kind of learning, where they decide what they want, and they instead of going by the structure, they just look at the lectures that might interest them. Some people ask that okay, in online teaching we are not able to bring in deeper learning at all, but to the contrary, in Mooc courses we are able to bring deeper learning competencies because they are able to master the core academic content, which is given to them through a multi-pronged approach. Lecture, notes, PPT, audio, video, and sometimes presented in puzzle solving method so that the critical thinking is developed. Complex problem solving method is used. Effective communication is enhanced and they are allowed to work collaboratively. Mentors are given. They learn how to learn in the sense they undo the old type of learning and they redo new type of learning, and they develop this academic mindsets for real learning. So there are some benefits, some factors, and some issues which we can look at it very quickly. Moocs are free. That's a major benefit. Okay. And the learning occurs in an informal manner at the participant's own pace. The participant need not finish it in 1 hour. The participant can see the same video 10 times, no restriction. And all that is required is a computer and an internet connection. Participants do not need to be enrolled in the Moocs host institution, which may have a costly tuition. For example, if you have to join IIT or a private management school, the fees is very high. But when you take the same course through Mooc, it's free. Okay, and the work can be shared, viewed, and critiqued by all participants. So there is forums. So you can join the forums, ask a question, and there are so many people who are there to answer your question. Outstanding professors and industry leaders are reaching out to students all over the world. But there are some factors, for example, structure, and then getting experienced teachers are also becoming sometimes difficult. And on the other hand, whether some old conservative institutes, are they really considering this as a kind of experiential learning is also a factor. Some of the issues associated with this, Mooc providers can currently offer courses for free, but not indefinitely. So when you finish 10 videos, some people, like even in Coursera, they will ask you to pay if you want to go to the higher version. Okay. Then there is also this charge that students aren't able to engage in real world socializing or experiences because they are all the time glued to internet. But today's scenario, as I told you, it has become the new norm. We have to accept it. Some people say technical difficulties. So they are not able to get internet connection everywhere. Data connectivity is too poor. While some people are enjoying 4G, somewhere 5G has come. There are people struggling to get a 2G stable connection elsewhere in the country. But this is only for a short term. The answer to this is, as it has been anticipated, very soon, like in ration shops, people will be getting data free of cost. Okay, so you will be given free of cost data, because that has become the new norm now. In fact, IITs, when we started the courses online, we have given like small chips in which we can upload the course content from our remote access, and the students can download whenever they get internet, and then they can read it. So the point is, they need not be connected on internet all the time. That is also possible. Okay. So the academic dishonesty is the major challenge now, which we are all facing. So what we have to do, so how we are countering that, which is also laborious, we are making them connect on Zoom or some online sources, and then we are recording if they have to write an exam, and they have to also record that video and share, so that we ensure that they are being proctored virtually and malpractice is not allowed. So students, actually it puts the onus on students, and they have to become more responsible. And you'll be surprised to know that students are becoming responsible, not that all students are trying to cheat. Some are really becoming more responsible. Now, what are the Mooc platforms? So if you look at the Mooc platform, as I said, Udemy is there, and then this Coursera is there, Udacity is there. But today, in the Indian context, there is this Brihaspati and Mookit, which, for example, in IIT, we are using it free of cost. There are other forums also, but I'll just try to highlight these two first, so that if you are interested in using, you can also use it free of cost. The popular online course platforms from where you can run regular courses as well as Mooc, for example, Sakai, very famous in US and all that. Moodle is equally used in India also. Blackboard is also used. Backpack. So Brihaspati is now initially initiated by IIT Kanpur, but now government has absorbed and made it free for all. Mookit is also available as an open source and developed from IIT Kanpur, and now it is available free. Now, very briefly, how do you go to Brihaspati? Brihaspati 3, and it's a free open source. Just even in Google, you can find it out, but this is the link, brihaspati.nmeict.in. So if you click, it will take you to the main page. And from there, if you go, it will take you to this page where you are supposed to log in. And sometimes your institute is already entered here. So you can look at my course page. I have taken screenshot of my course page where you can see my email ID and the password, and then using that, if I log in, so it will take me to my course, my page, and there is so-called instructor's home. So if I click this instructor's home, it will take me to the
Me, sir?
courses. Yeah.
Sir, can
Yes.
we have the link on the chat box for the Brihaspati link? So can we have this Brihaspati link on the chat box, please?
Yeah. What I will do, I can, if you want, I can even send this PDF to you. You can share it with the audience. Or
Thank
if
you,
you
sir.
want,
Thank you so much.
So instead of, because otherwise I have to like cut and then paste it here, which I can do that at the end of the session also. Whatever they want, I can just go there and then take it from the slide and put it also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So kindly mail this to Navdeep ma'am's email ID. We will share that.
Is that okay? Yeah. Sure. Link, I mean other links. So every time then if I literature and the individual, contemporary critical theories, and even climate fiction and films, perspectives of the posthuman and the Anthropocene. Now, these are the courses I'm giving. Okay. And if I click, for example, one of the courses, this is what you will be seeing inside, like course management is shown here. And if I further click the course management, I will go to the prescribed text, references, articles. And if I click here further, you can see I have already put the textbooks. I can also put my videos here. So this is how it will look like. Like these are all the textbooks already I have put. So they don't have to actually buy any books. We are doing that. And the second forum that we use very actively is this Mooc. Okay. This is quite popular in IIT Kanpur, but it is open to all of you also. It's an open source. So just like the other ones which I mentioned to you, you can go there, create it just like Brihaspati. So it will show like this instructor and then a course that is created here. Again, it has a slightly different and easy interface. You can access course, manage team, manage students. So when you go to access course, just like that, you will have course content. In manage course, you can go and even you conduct your online quizzes. So after tomorrow, I have a quiz in the form of final exam. About 150 questions I have set, and students from all over India will be answering that. And when they answer it, within 2.5 hours, once they finish, it will be automatically evaluated. And I don't have to evaluate that. So these are the other advantages. Imagine like, and when we are running for 53,000 students, the evaluation is done just like the way JEE and other exams are conducted. Once they finish, the evaluation is done. So that's the advantage. So these are, if I click it, these are the resources I have put. So and it like currently we are also using this one, something called IITK courses. Okay. Let us actually come to the most important one that all of you can actually use it. It's about Nptel, and the Nptel courses started in 2003. Nptel courses started in 2003, but like in 17 years time, it has a kind of giant leap, and it has overshadowed all other online courses. It's on the top today, and it is freely available for all, whether for auditing or even for offering courses. What is the function of this Nptel, this National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning? It's a joint venture of all IITs and Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So it provides e-learning through online web and video courses in engineering, science, and humanities streams. And today it is the largest online repository in the world for courses. As I have been telling you, you can learn anytime, anywhere by anyone. And so far, 1,440 plus. So the time I'm saying, I think it would have reached around 1,500 plus, because 1 year before I took the data. And the most popular ones are this NOC or Nptel online certification courses. It's giving this online certificate courses through the portal. If you type onlinecourses.nptel.ac.in, okay, which link also I will share it with you. There are 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12 weeks courses offered twice a year. Currently, my own course, Enhancing Soft Skills and Personality, enrollment is already on. Until February, you can keep yourselves enrolled. The course begins in February, so you have a lot of time. But instead of waiting till February, I suggest you join. And if you don't want to continue, nobody is going to tell you anything. It's free of cost. Okay. So there's also this link directly. If you go to nptel.ac.in, you can also access through swayam.gov.in. Currently, government has completely taken over and it's run through government portal. So it's completely free for all. So if you look at the statistics so far, so initially it was like the enroll courses. If you look at the first phase, like in 2014, so you will find it in 1,12,754, and then for people who wrote the exam is around 3,000. But if you look at the ongoing one, so it's like in crores now, and then 392 courses, and this is like past enrollment, and around 3 lakh people have actually tried to get benefit out of this in the form of giving examinations. But this is like it keeps growing. So that is the other interesting thing. Now, when you go to this swayam.gov.in, this is the page. I've taken the screenshot. It looks like this. Now, this is an indigenous platform of the MHRD, GOI, providing an integrated portal and platform for hosting Moocs, very user-friendly. And the name is very appropriate. It's called Swayam, and it's an acronym for Steady Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. Now, young aspiring minds, you should know that it's not only adolescent and adult people. There are people at the age of retirement who are eagerly taking the courses. So it's the aspiring mind, not the body. Okay, it's open to all. Some courses, they say at least +2 you should have completed. There are courses where there is no age restriction at all. Anyone can join. Various courses, sometimes based on curriculum, continuing education and skill. The simple link is swayam.gov.in. So that much if you remember, it is fine. Now the first partner for Swayam is Nptel. The major provider for Swayam even now is Nptel. What is the vision of Nptel? It is to provide high quality, affordable education at large scale. The mission is to develop video lectures and course content, and offer online courses and conduct exams for certification, and promote use and adoption by colleges and universities. What are the components? So now this is where our regular course curriculum and Mooc is different. Now the course content, which we teach in the form of syllabus in the regular class, is already given to them in the form of video lectures. Okay, that's one major component. Then assignments, objective, subjective programming is happening weekly. Now, apart from lectures, you should also give text transcripts and, if possible, lab demos. There is an active discussion forum that's happening simultaneously. Plus, there is live interactive sessions by faculty. So we have to meet them periodically. So we use YouTube channel. We meet them through Google Meet. Sometimes all 50,000 students are there. They ask questions and we answer the questions online, apart from answering through forums. Now, if you look at it from the learner side, what is the learner engagement? They're just supposed to watch video lectures 3 to 4 hours in a week, and they have to test themselves using the assignment. It's a self-assessment kind of one. And whenever they have a question, they can come to the forum. They need not only ask questions, they can also answer questions based on their learning. And the teacher can say, mark something as the best answer. There are notes available, text transcripts, references are given, and live interaction is happening. And the learner is supposed to engage in all these ones. The learner is supposed to participate in these ones. Okay. Now, if you look at the learning time, it is not only coming to the class here. It is distributed. Videos, then reading, answering, listening, discussing, thinking and solving. So if you look at it, it is a multifarious component of learning mode. This is how the discussion forum looks. You can ask a question, okay, and you like click this ask a question, and the forum looks like this. Sometimes it looks like your Google group question and answer. And if I click whichever week, you will get all the questions related to this. This is the discussion forum look. And this is how the assignments look. If you look at it, and they are auto graded. So it has true or false questions or multiple choice type of questions. Both are available. And there is this progress tab. If you click it, you can check the marks of your assessment. Okay. In the new 60 is there, new subjective 99 one student has taken. Okay. Now the Swayam local chapter, which might be of interest to some of you, is that Nptel online certification initiative. Okay, they have taken this forward to encourage more students across colleges to participate in this initiative. So there are local chapters, they are set up with the approval of the management. If there is no local chapter in your college, you can write to the nearest IIT like IIT Delhi or the major coordinator, that is IIT Nptel. If you Google Nptel IIT Madras, it will give you all phone number and then email ID. You can write to the coordinator and then you can tell them that your institute wants to have a local chapter in your college. They'll be very happy
Sir,
to.
can I have a question here?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So I'm Dr. Shruti, sir. I am the coordinator for Swayam local chapter at my place. The challenge which I face here is that the courses which are offered by NPTEL, there is a very quick response from them. But the courses which are offered from Swayam, there is a lot of issues, especially because due to the lockdown, some courses, some final exams were postponed. So a lot of communication gap was I was facing from the Swayam part. So is it the case everywhere, or is it generalized or not?
Actually, see, IITs are initially linked with NPTEL. Okay. And the NPTEL is absorbed under Swayam. So Swayam is also giving other courses. So you are right. If you look at the NPTEL courses offered by IIT, we have some control. So the courses which are not offered through NPTEL IITs, we do not have that much control. So there they are having this government staff and all that. So if you look at the way we are running, we are available all the time. So they work under office hours, and then they have they certain protocols like answering only emails. So here we are accessible to all forms. So there is some this thing with Swayam in general, but not with this NPTEL courses. So you, if you are like having issues with NPTEL, you can directly contact the IIT Madras people, and they will sort it out quickly. So, but like Swayam, I think there is a link to.
Appreciate NPTEL people, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Audio is not clear.
NPTEL courses are running very smoothly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So that is the thing.
Just saying that I would like to congratulate sir. NPTEL courses run very smoothly. The only issue I face. Yes, sir. The only issue is with the courses which are not from NPTEL, but Swayam is offering them.
Okay. Okay. So that's what I said.
I got my answer.
We are helpless in that. So actually, in the difference is that in NPTEL there is a lot of passion, and people who are involved, they want to break the conventional mode. Now Swayam is just following still that conventional mode of that maintaining hierarchy and all that, and answering only when required, just like behaving that old conservative teacher mindset that is there, which is not there in this. So what you can do, like if you're acting as a nodal officer, what I would suggest is, like, instead of making the students suffer, identify the courses which are popular and then which are like running year after year. Like I don't want to boast myself. My course is running for the 6th year, and you'll be surprised to know every time it is rerun, we are getting more people. We started, I'll show you the data very soon, and you'll be surprised to know the increase. Now, why the increase? Because of the response. Like anytime they ask, we have a dedicated team, they're answering the question. So anytime they're even coming to us and telling us like exam, there is issue and all that, we guide them and do what is necessary. So this is possible in NPTEL once, you are right. So as a nodal officer, I would suggest that you identify the ones that are time tested and that other institutes have already adapted, and then they are like finding it relevant for the students. Things which are creating problems, like you should give the feedback, and at least time being in this kind of COVID situation, you should try to put a hold on it. So that will be my suggestion. NPTEL calls this single point of contact as SPOC, as ma'am said just now. Some of interested people can also become this SPOC. And what is your role? You will be the nodal officer, the coordinating officer from NPTEL and your institute. How is this advantageous? So suddenly, let's say, one institution, entire institution is sealed because of COVID-19. Recently, we heard even IIT Madras is sealed. Yesterday's newspaper, it was announced. Now the students cannot go out for exam, and let us say internet is suspended, or there is a sudden flood. Okay, so and then all the electricity, everything is not working, or there is a bandh, national wide bandh, so you cannot go for exam. Now the SPOC can actually contact the concerned coordinator from IIT Madras and tell, look, this is the situation. You give us some extra time for assignment. Allow our people to submit it 2 days late, 3 days late. Don't put the deadline as 12 p.m. tonight. Okay, we'll not be able to submit it. So give us an alternative for exam. So these are the things they can negotiate. And then suppose like what ma'am has said, if an instructor is not responding, so the SPOCs can directly contact the instructor and ask like, our students have asked so many questions, why are you not responding to them? So that is possible for the SPOC. What is the advantage of SPOC? The SPOC is getting a lot of coordinating experience, certificate, besides traveling to these institutes whenever this training program is there. They let them stay. For example, IIT Kanpur conducted last time. So all these SPOCs were here in IIT Kanpur. They were in the guest house. The travel fare, everything is taken care of by NPTEL. So they're given good food. They stay here. 3 days they are given training. They meet all the instructors who gave this thing. They maintain personal contact. They get the WhatsApp number, so that even if something misses there, they are directly in touch with these people. So that is the role of SPOC. It's very interesting, and it's also personally enhancing and quite helpful to the organizations. No, the SPOC, he or she can identify suitable mentors for the courses also. Okay, and within the institute, they can also find someone as mentor, and then they can check whether the assignments are all submitted in time or not. So those are possible. Now, if you look at the local chapters which are available, so Maharashtra is on the top, like 641. Tamil Nadu is next, UP, followed by that. So if you look at Punjab and Haryana, about 56 and 48. This means like even around 500 plus you can easily have. So less initiative have been taken, and maybe the courses are not very much popularized. Maybe the technological issues are there. But if you can, these are all things which are getting sorted out sooner or later. If you can do that, it is good. And if you look at Northeast, you will find that the number is still thinning down, like 2 to 1 in Nagaland and all that. So compared to that, Punjab, Haryana, still you have higher ones, but you can still increase the number. So this is the statistics about local chapters doing it state-wise. And the other thing that NPTEL does, is that it signs MOU with industries. Then it gives domain certification. Like you can do only on artificial intelligence. You can do only on data science. Another interesting thing many of you do not know, you don't have to go to Quota or any other place for preparing for GATE. Okay. GATE preparation papers, video content, and aligned questions from previous year question papers are all available in Nptel. So this is something that you can share it. The current interesting thing that's happening is that this translation, previously it was offered in English. Now they are translating in all regional languages. So this happening in a massive manner. Already I know Gujarati, Marathi, and some courses in Punjabi, they have all been done. So my course, somebody translated recently in Gujarati, and he also organized another workshop after doing that. So the thing is, like, we are able to appeal to the students, access to them in whatever way possible, which is not done normally in the conventional classrooms. Internships, normally the toppers are encouraged to go to the concerned IIT or NIT or any institute where the instructor is available and join as an intern for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks. So artificial intelligence, the student wants to know more from the faculty. Cyber security, the student wants to know more. Soft skills, the student wants to learn more from the faculty. Can go with the faculty and be there as intern in the IIT. Again, like travel and food is taken care in these cases. This is just given as a kind of incentive. Faculty initiatives, like most of the Mooc courses, including my courses, enhancing soft skills and personality and developing soft skills and personality, are given as FDPs. They don't have to go and do FDP. They do the course, get the certificate, and they also pay 100 rupees extra to get an FDP certificate for 1 week, and it's approved by AICTE, and they don't have to like go somewhere. So today many online FDPs are happening, but in the pre-COVID time, they have to travel somewhere, and only Nptel, AICTE, Mooc courses were the ones who are giving this online FDPs, which are actually Mooc courses. So many people have availed this. So some have proudly shown that I have 4 FDPs done through Mooc and all that. So that is another initiative that is given only for faculty. Okay. So how does the certificate look like? So many people actually feel so proud to have this certificate because it looks very decent. The name is given. Nowadays, sometimes they put the picture of the candidate also. And on the back side, you will also get your score and the category in which you have passed. Now, very briefly, the courses of mine, which is already available through Nptel. So if you type this Nptel courses and search for mine on communication skills, it's already available. There are 12 modules, about 48 lectures, and many faculty are already using this in the regular classroom also. This is how the module looks with the video lecture and all that. So that is Nptel, and I will come to my Swayam courses briefly. Before that, very quickly, the highlights of Nptel, as I said, around 1500 courses, 80% from India are using it, and 400 plus million website viewers, 40 to 50 GB download every day, and during COVID time, it has even increased up to 60 to 70 GB sometimes. 40,000 plus video hours are already available. Subtitles for 33,000 plus video courses are available. The best is education at home. Don't go anywhere, sit at home and study. Business people are taking it seriously. Housewives are taking it seriously. Family together, sitting at home, they are doing courses together, enjoying doing assignments together, learning together, competing with each other. So the text transcriptions for 30,000 plus video hours are already available. Now, my Swayam course developing soft skills and personality. So it will look like this when you go to the portal, and the join button will be there. If you click it, it will ask very simple questions and you can join. Currently, this enhancing soft skills and personality is open, and those who are interested can join this. Those who are interested for recommending for the students can recommend this, because many students have found it very useful even while getting the jobs and even at the first year entry level only. So this is like in the form of 8 weeks. Transcripts are already there, videos are there, lecture notes are there, frequently asked questions are already there. A quick statistics of my first course, developing soft skills, started in 2016, a humble enrollment of 14,000 plus, but you can see in the next year 18,000 and then 38,000, and last year 50,000 plus, and the exam registration is around 18,000. Okay, now enhancing started with a better enrollment 18,000 plus, and then the last 2020 enrollment was 53,000, and about around 19,000 plus registered for the examination. So we are hoping, like in the COVID, initially there was a lag, but now again people are coming back, and we think that this time we'll get more. Normally this is the kind of timeline the course starts, and then when the course will end and all that. So this is the previous timeline I have put. The current timeline, if you go to Nptel site, you will get it also. You might be wondering, like, who is taking the highest number of Nptel course takers? There's someone in South, this Aditya Vignesh, Kungunadu College of Engineering and Technology, is in a private engineering college, done 37 courses from Nptel. So Ashok from another private college is a faculty who did 32 courses. Other faculty has done 31 courses, and so on. So if a student can do 37 courses, so imagine why not other students and other faculty can do courses. So the ones who have taken this as part of their curriculum, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, Kerala, Lucknow, that is UPTU, even Gujarat Technical University, University of Madras, etc. They all taken this as part of their course curriculum. Sometimes they are giving credit points, sometimes they are making it like a pre-PhD course program and all that. So the online Nptel course certificate, NOC certificate, looks like this. So you have elite, gold medal, and all these categories. So backside, if you're 90 plus, you come under this elite plus gold, and you also are eligible for internship. Okay, so then elite plus silver, elite 40 to 59 successfully completed. Below 40, you will not get certificate. They will not say failure, but you have to try again and do that. Now, the concluding point, if you are interested in offering NPTEL courses, you have to write to IIT Madras. The application is available online. So this is how it looks very quickly. Your name, your details, your teaching experience. If you are 5 years experience, it's also fine. Research experience and the course details, course objective outline. But the most important is like they would like to know the plan. Okay, from module 1 to module 40. So what will be the name, who will be the content writer, who will be the reviewer, who will be the technical supporter, who will be the presenter. So these are the details they want to know. What will you cover? Okay, and how will the exam will be conducted? What do you think, etc., etc. So once you submit it, there is a peer review, and then they review it and get back to you. Okay. The concluding thoughts, learner diversity in Moocs, people normally think as a kind of challenge, but I would say that it offers immense opportunities. Do not think them as challenges. I know people, students, faculty all over the country thanks to Mooc. Okay. So anywhere when I do something, there are people who have already done my courses or they are aware of it. That's why they call me for the talk and all that. So the feeling that instead of confining your teaching to 4 walls, and then when you transcend towards a geological space which is all the more encompassing and universal. So you really feel like you are facing the challenge and using that as an opportunity. In some courses, learners need prerequisites and because they are advanced topics. Doing Mooc for personal interest is possible. Certificates are given. Young people as well as old, both are there. Students as well as professionals are there. And some people who are proficient and not proficient are there. That's the reason why video is not created in like foreign accent or they just are okay with Indian English. It should not be very confusing in terms of pronunciation. It should be clear enough for them to understand. If that is there, it is enough. So they do not expect high level proficiency even when you produce this video content. The closing note, want to quote from Siemens. The quote goes like this: when you learn transparency and openly, you become a teacher. The point I'm making is, in one of the best teacher awards, we asked the very senior teacher, sir, what is the secret of your success? And then he said that I keep my knowledge as well as my ignorance transparent. And that is the culture Mooc has taken us. Those days you are trying to hide your knowledge as well as ignorance, but time has come, like you keep it open and engage yourself in the active process of learning. Thank you so much for this patient listening. Now I'm open to questions. You can put it in the chat. You can also ask through the video, whichever suits you. Questions, comments? Yeah.
Any query at the participant end?
I think, yeah, I think recorded video, they will share it. PPT, I'll share it with ma'am. But if you have any questions, you can ask also.
So I assume there is no query.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a really an interactive and informative session given by you on Moocs, as how we can opt for the Moocs courses, what are their benefits, how we can make it best for the use. Really a good one, sir. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
So I'm signing off since there are no questions.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really delightful to listen to you, sir. Sir, are there any remunerations for to create these courses? Sorry, sir, my connection was lost. That's why I'm delayed question. Really sorry for that.
No, that's okay. So see, there is a remuneration for both faculty, and if you involve TAs also, there is a remuneration. But I should also tell you that the time that you will invest doesn't commensurate with the remuneration. If you have a passion like to teach all, so then it is fine. For example, people in IIMs do not offer many Mooc courses because they find certain other modules more profitable than this. Okay, but if you enjoy like teaching, that is the first thing. But on the other hand, I should tell you,
Right,
for a 8-week course, they'll give you around 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs for video production and 1 lakh for this one, what you call post production. Okay, so around 33% may go in tax, like 2 lakhs something you will get. But still, like this is for the first time. So every time it is repeated, you may not get the same amount, but The other thing is like teaching is a noble profession, and then the teachers want to be known, and if you want that name and fame, Nptel is something that can give it to you. If you think that you are a good teacher, you should give a try, because as I said, when your courses are getting repeated again and again, when industries want the course to be run, and when students are finding it useful, so that's the greatest reward than the monetary benefit.
Exactly. Yes,
Also
sir.
the monetary benefit is decent, I would not say that, but there are like in IIMs and all that, they're even getting better thing, so they will not offer many courses like this. And there are
Right.
some people who offer it only for the money part, and the courses are not reread after that. So if you think so that's it. So the point I'm making is, although there is money part, that should be considered as secondary. So this should be
Right.
done for the sheer joy of teaching thousands of students, lakhs of students, and then unknown students. I used to feel very happy when my colleague comes and tells that we appointed someone who is a fresh candidate, but she says that she knows communication skills and soft skills, and she has learned through your courses online. And we
Right,
asked
sir. Right.
that she was able to answer all the questions, so we were very satisfied. So what else do you need? Like, you have actually given a job to someone. Okay.
Exactly, exactly. That is the greatest gift. Another question, sir, I would have is that sometimes the students lack the interest. I'm facing a lot of challenge to convince the students to join the courses, though we have credit based and it is a compulsion to do them. But at some points in some courses, it is not credit based. In on those courses, I am facing issues of making the students to go to the link and join and all those things. So how would you like to talk on this topic, that how should I convince students more to join the course?
Actually, ma'am, first I would tell you, do not make this course just like regular course. Students have a tendency, when you force them to do something, they will repel. Just like our kids, when you tell them you don't do this, they want to do that, and when you tell them do this, they don't want to do. So that's a human psychology. Uh, like, you give them a multitude of options. Like even soft skills, there are 3 IITs which are giving. Okay, so you say that this is like, I'm rating number 1, this is 2, 3, but it's up to you. Whichever faculty you like, you take it. And same.
Exactly, sir. We give them the options, but I don't know. Students have that phobia of that, because right now also we are facing that issue of online teaching, and students want that classroom teaching. So if we give them a choice, we give them whatever subject you choose, whatever teacher you choose. That is not an issue from our side. But still, students are not that much willing to join such courses. We have to give them a push to join such courses.
That's because they are not aware of it. Sometimes, like, you watch that first, and then you take 1 or 2 videos, and then you show it to them in the class. Okay, so many times, like in my case, somebody has seen, like, for example, my lecture on communication skills, miscommunication. Somebody has, some students have seen that in some workshop, and then they have joined the entire communication skills course. So you need to create the interest. As they say, you cannot take the horse to the, you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink.
Right,
So,
sir. Right, sir.
so you can show the students, but you cannot force them to have it, but you have to create that hunger. How do you create the hunger? Is by telling them, showing them, making them understand that these are really interesting ones. Show small clippings, like these are good ones. So this is something I enjoyed. I have done the certificates. Sometimes you can arrange for, like in COVID, they are not traveling, but you can arrange for faculty meeting with the students. So that also motivates them a lot. So
Professor, may I
nowadays,
ask a question?
Right,
so
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for my answers, questions
that's
and
fine.
answers. Thank you so much.
I think Dr. Rahul wants to ask something.
Yeah, Professor, I have got a ID with Swayam course, but
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to link it with the local chapter. And I have written an email to them many times, but they are not responding.
No, whom? Is it to Nptel at IIT Madras, or whom are you writing?
I think it is Nptel IIT Madras.
Okay. So what I would suggest, like this COVID may be an issue. There are like landline numbers which are put there.
I could not find any landline number on that site. So while contact us, I only get that email and I have replied. I have written that email many times.
Okay. So maybe you can, my email ID is trc@iitk.ac.in. Even in Google, you can find.
Please write it in the chat box.
Okay. So what you can do is you can like forward one of the mails that you have sent. So I will send it to one particular person who is in
So
charge.
nice of you. So nice.
So who
Please
is
write
in
your
charge?
email ID.
I'll just forward to that person and then ask the person to respond and find out why this link is not being given.
So nice of you.
Yeah.
Okay. trc@iitac.in. IITK.
Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So I think due to internet connectivity, people are responding slowly. Like if there are any other questions, feel free to ask. So how do you find, like even you can respond, how do you find this online teaching? So those, because we have already done many courses on Nptel through online mode, we are rather enjoying this transition. We don't feel any change at all. But those who are used only to classroom teaching, I believe that they are finding this transition sometimes very challenging. So any response on that from anyone?
Sir, I really enjoy it.
Yes, I think you said something and then the
Sorry, there was background noise. Sir, I really do enjoy this online teaching. The only case is that student responsiveness is an issue which we have discussed earlier in many of these sessions, that student responsiveness is a bit of an issue. Otherwise, online mode is very nice. That though I was also used to it earlier too, but yes, student responsiveness, it is new for the students, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So the main issue is to how to keep the students
Professor, I have just
interactive.
forwarded that same email.
Yeah, two of you are speaking. Yeah. So one by one, Shruti ma'am, actually, I don't know whether you are able to mix up various modes in online teaching. So we use videos, we use online like YouTube videos, mix it with the movie, sometimes cartoons. So, and even like if you have seen mine, I started with a meme from Facebook. So I frequently use these things so that students get a feeling that, okay, also with WhatsApp and Facebook, like first thing we do is we create Facebook and WhatsApp group. They don't come for Gmail groups. Okay, so that WhatsApp group, they're okay, they answer questions very quickly. So current trend is like, as I said, it's student centered one, and we need to go to them instead of like expecting that they will come to us. So
yes, sure, sir, sure. Even in fact, we have also created the same. We have created WhatsApp groups, and then we chat, and we even say that students, if you are not comfortable responding on the like online mode, Google Meet, we ask them to just revert on the WhatsApp group. And yes, being interactive and asking them to sharing some videos. That's what we are doing eventually.
also you make them speak. Like one thing I do in the my class is like I make it interactive. I conduct an online quiz before going to the class, so they should have watched the videos. Without watching, they cannot come there. So the quiz is given some marks, And in the class, we make discussions, and in the discussions, like I encourage them to use the video and ask questions that is recorded, and then we put it again, upload it in the forum. So they enjoy watching their video back. So they feel that they're getting some significance. That also works sometimes.
Right. So that's a really good sort of option. I'll surely explore that. What I personally do is I just keep on calling name of all the students personally, so that they feel that yes, there is a one-to-one learning going on.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, Manifest.
Fine. So any other questions? Dr. Rahul, you were asking something, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, Professor, I have sent that email to you.
Fine. Okay. So after the session, I will forward it.
Sure, please.
No. So if there are no questions on chat as well as on this one, I leave it to the organizers. I think they may.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So shall I disconnect?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So participant, it's a wrap for today. We will meet again at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thank you all. Have a nice day.